Hello and welcome to our Year 1 Phonics review. We're going to be reviewing Summer 1, Week 1 Phonics. So this week the children have been reviewing the Phase 5 graphemes that we've been learning since the beginning of the year. So this half term is all about consolidating our Phase 5 knowledge ready for our phonics screening check, which happens in June. So the children have been learning the A sounds and the E sounds this week and the ways that we can make them. So GPC stands for grapheme phoneme correspondence, and there's lots of different ways of making the A and E sound. So this week we've been revisiting the letters that go together to make these sounds. So for example, the letters A and Y make the A sound, and the letters A and E make a A sound with a split digraph. The letters E and A make an E sound, and the letter E on its own also makes an E sound. So let's have a look at the sounds that we've been practicing. I'm going to show you the sound, and it is A. This one is A, and this is a split digraph. That means that there is a letter in between the two letters. So, for example, that where that line is there, that is where we would normally see a letter in between. For example, in the word snake, the A and the E are making the A sound, but they are apart, and that's what the children have been taught. We've also learned that these two letters make the E sound, and this letter also makes the E sound. So it's really important that the children are able to recognise all of those sounds and read them. These sounds are very likely to come up in our phonics screening check, so we're practicing them more and more this half term so that they are ready for them. And also, of course, it's really important that they know these sounds anyway so that they can access and read as many books as possible. And hopefully they're really getting confident on these sounds now that they are onto Phase 5 books. So let's have a practice of spotting the digraph in this word. So you could ask your child to spot the digraph. There it is at the end, and the word is play. Now let's have a look at this word. Can you spot the digraph? It's there in the middle of the word, and the word is eat. Treat. Okay, can you spot the split digraph? Okay, it's there. The A is in the middle and the E is at the end. And there's another digraph in here, which is shake. Okay, and finally, let's have a look and see if you can spot the sound that the letter E is making. So let's look at the first E. Can you remember what sound that's making? It's making an E sound, and there's a digraph at the end, which is Eve, fever. When I was sick, I had a fever. Okay, so they are some examples of the words the children have been learning to read this week or practicing reading this week with the sounds that they have learned. And they have also been exposed to a nonsense word this week and a few nonsense words. And this is what we're going to be doing each week now up until the phonics screening check so that they get used to seeing a nonsense word. Now, a nonsense word is a word that we must use our sounds for, but we cannot read it by sight because it's an alien word. So for these words, we are teaching children that speedy does not do it. They need to take their time, they need to look for the digraph and sound it out, which is kind of opposite to what we've been teaching them this year, because obviously we also want to build fluency with real words. But when it comes to nonsense words, we really do need them to take their time to sound it out. What we don't want to happen is that they confuse it for a real word. So let's have a practice now. See if you can spot the digraph in this word. It's there in the middle, and it's the E sound. So it's st, meast. Now, with nonsense words, we've learnt this year that sometimes sounds can have alternative pronunciation. So, for example, the letter E and A can make the E sound like we've just practiced, but it can also make an sound, for example, in words like head. So if the children were to read it mest, that's fine because it's a nonsense word. So they can use any alternative pronunciation. But this week, as we've been learning the E sound, we would have taught them to read that with the E sound. But when it comes to nonsense word, as long as it's a pronunciation that fits the letters, that's okay. I will be doing a workshop on the phonics screening later on in this half term, so I'll cover nonsense words more then, but I just wanted to give you an insight so that you know what a nonsense word looks like, you understand what the children are being asked to do this half term, and so that you can really support them at home. Now, all of the sounds that we've practiced this week are very, very likely to come up in the phonics screening, so just make sure that your children is really secure on all 4 of those sounds. Now, let's have a practice of our sentence. You can pause the video and ask your child to have a go at reading this sentence. Okay, how did you get on? There's quite a few tricky words in here. And there's also the words that we have spotted with our new digraphs in. Well, they're not new, we learnt them earlier, but the ones we've been practicing this week. So, some people think it is a treat to play in the sea. How did you get on? Some people think it is a treat to play in the sea, which I think is quite a good sentence considering we are starting our topic in project called What Happens at the Seaside. So I hope you enjoyed that this week. Hope you found it informative, and I'll see you next week.